It was still early when Emily Carter stepped into the quiet hallway of her small home. The sky outside was pale blue, still waking up, and she felt that familiar calm of mornings before the world turned noisy. She reached for the front door, planning to pick up the newspaper like she always did, until something unfamiliar caught her eye. A single envelope lay on the welcome mat. Emily froze. No one sent letters anymore, and certainly not to her. She slowly bent down, her long chestnut brown hair brushing her shoulder as she picked it up. Her hazel green eyes narrowed. There was no return address, no stamp. Just her name, written in a handwriting she hadn't seen in nearly 15 years. That handwriting belonged to a man she had spent half her life trying not to remember, her father. Emily's fingers trembled. The edges of the envelope felt heavier than paper should ever feel. She pressed it against her chest for a moment, breath unsteady, as if the air itself had turned sharp. "He shouldn't know where I live," she whispered to no one, but he did. And suddenly, the quiet morning no longer felt safe. Emily sat at the small wooden table in her kitchen, the letter in front of her, like an unwanted ghost. Steam rose from her untouched cup of coffee, but she didn't notice. Her hands rested on the envelope, gently tracing the edges, as if the paper itself could explain why it had arrived after so many silent years. She took a slow breath. Then she opened it. The sound of paper tearing felt too loud in the quiet room. Inside was a single sheet, old, slightly yellowed, as if it had been written long ago but never sent. Emily unfolded it with trembling fingers. Her eyes scanned the first line. "My dear Emily." Her stomach tightened. She could hear it, his voice, the one she had spent half her life trying to forget. She read on. "If this letter ever reaches you, it means I have finally found the courage to tell you the truth about that night." Emily's breath caught in her throat. That night. The words hit her like ice. She shut her eyes, squeezing them shut, but memories rushed in anyway. Flashes of shouting, her mother's tears, the slam of a door, and the cold emptiness that followed. She hadn't been ready then. She wasn't sure she was ready now, but the letter didn't care. "I did not leave you because I wanted to. I left because I thought it would keep you safe, but I was wrong. You deserved the truth, and you still do." Emily's heart pounded painfully. Safe? From what? Her hands tightened around the paper. She could feel her pulse in her fingertips. She whispered, "What truth?" But the letter had no answer, only more questions. Outside, the morning sun rose higher, but inside Emily's kitchen, the room felt colder. For the first time in years, the past had found her, and it wasn't going to let go easily. Emily reread the letter 3 more times, hoping the words would rearrange themselves into something that made sense. They didn't. Instead, each sentence felt heavier, as if her father had placed a stone on her chest with every line. But one sentence stood out, one she couldn't ignore. "The truth is not only mine to tell, someone else knows, someone close." Someone close? Emily's heartbeat quickened. Her mother? No, her mother had never spoken about that night, not once, not even when Emily was old enough to ask. Emily stood from the table. Her legs felt unsteady, but her resolve was firm. If this letter was real, if her father had finally tried to reach her, then she needed answers, and only one person could give them. She grabbed her keys, slipped on her camel coat, wrapped her scarf around her neck, and headed for the door. Her long chestnut hair catching the morning light as she moved with sudden purpose. For the first time in years, Emily felt like she was walking straight into the past she had tried so hard to escape. The cold morning air hit Emily the moment she stepped outside, but she barely felt it. Her mind was already racing far ahead of her, back to the small house she grew up in, back to the night her family split apart. She unlocked her car and slid inside, her chestnut brown hair falling over her shoulder as she leaned forward, gripping the steering wheel for a moment. Her hazel green eyes stared at nothing while her breath fogged the glass. She whispered to herself, "Why now, after all these years?" The engine hummed to life, and the familiar road stretched in front of her, an old highway lined with pine trees that carried too many memories. Every mile she drove felt like peeling back another layer of her past. She remembered her father's shadow leaving the house. She remembered her mother crying quietly in the kitchen. And she remembered herself, 10 years old, hugging her small, silver heart-shaped necklace and promising she would never forget the truth, even though no one had told her what it was. As the car rolled through the fading morning light, Emily realized something she hadn't wanted to admit. She had spent years pretending she didn't care, but she did, and now she needed the answers more than ever. Emily turned onto the old gravel driveway. The sound of the rocks crunching beneath the tires felt like stepping onto sacred ground. The house stood quietly at the end of the path, small, faded, familiar. Nothing had changed. And yet, everything had. She stepped out of the car. The air smelled like pine, dust, and memories she wasn't ready for. Her chestnut hair moved slightly in the breeze as she walked toward the porch, her steps slow, cautious. Before she could knock, the door opened. Her mother stood there, older, tired, eyes the same warm brown, but dimmer, as if a part of her had burned out long ago. "Emily," her mother whispered, as if saying her name might break something fragile. Emily swallowed hard. "We need to talk." Her mother hesitated, but stepped aside. The house seemed to breathe as Emily entered. The same carpets, the same framed photographs, the same living room where her family once sat together before everything shattered. Emily's voice was quiet, but sharp. A letter came. From him. Her mother's face went pale. Everything stopped. They sat in the living room in silence. Emily's fingers twisted the silver heart necklace at her chest, the one she'd worn since she was a child. Her mother stared at the floor, hands trembling. Finally, Emily spoke. "Why did he leave?" Her mother closed her eyes. A long, shaky breath escaped her. "It wasn't because of us," she said. "He left to protect you." Emily shook her head. "From what?" "I was 10, Mom. Protect me from what?" Her mother lifted her gaze, wet, broken, full of years of silence. "From the truth," she said. Emily felt her stomach drop. Her mother whispered, "Your father didn't leave because he wanted to. He left because someone threatened him. Someone dangerous." "Who?" Emily demanded. Her mother hesitated. "Your uncle." Emily froze. Her uncle, the man she trusted as family, the man who was always there after her father left. Her mother continued in a trembling voice. "Your father found out something about him, something that could destroy everything. He left to keep you safe until he could prove it." Emily felt the world tilt. The truth wasn't what she expected, it was worse. Her mother reached into a drawer and took out another envelope. Older, worn, never opened. "I couldn't read it," she whispered. "It was for you." Emily slowly took the envelope. Her entire body trembled. She opened it. Inside was her father's handwriting again, shaky and rushed. "Emily, if you are reading this, then the danger has finally passed. I left because your uncle threatened your life. If I revealed what he was doing, I needed time to gather evidence. I never meant to disappear. I was trying to come home." Emily's breath hitched. "But someone made sure I never could." Her hands froze. "What does that mean?" she asked, voice cracking. Her mother whispered, "Emily, your father didn't leave. He was taken." Emily's world shattered. Emily stood slowly, her legs unsteady as if the floor beneath her had shifted. Her mother watched her with a silent fear. Fear of the truth, finally opening like an old wound. Emily walked toward the shelf where dozens of old family photos sat gathering dust. Her eyes moved across them until she found it. A picture of her father. And next to him, her uncle. Her uncle's smile suddenly didn't look warm anymore. It looked sharp, calculated, something she had never seen as a child. Her breath grew shallow. "Mom," she whispered, holding the picture. What was he involved in? Her mother closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. Illegal money threats. People who owed him. Your father found documents, proof. He planned to hand everything to the police. Emily felt a cold wave crawl down her spine. And he threatened a 10-year-old girl. To stop him, she whispered. Her mother nodded. Emily gripped the photograph so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her father didn't abandon her. He didn't run away. He was silenced. And now the man responsible for her entire childhood pain was still out there. A spark ignited inside her. Anger, grief, and something powerful. She wasn't a child anymore, and she wasn't afraid. Emily sat back on the sofa, the old photograph still in her hands. Her heartbeat hammered in her ears. Her uncle's name, Raymond, echoed through her mind like a warning she once ignored. "Mom?" Emily said, her voice low but sharp. "Where is he now?" Her mother swallowed. "He still lives in town, running the business. Everyone thinks he's respectable." Respectable. The word burned. Her father died trying to stop him. And the world thought her uncle was a good man. Emily's throat tightened. The necklace at her chest felt heavier, as if her father's memory was pushing her forward. She stood. "I'm going to see him." Her mother paled. "Emily, no. It's dangerous." Emily's eyes hardened, but not with recklessness. With purpose. "He took my father from me. He took my childhood from me. I'm not running anymore." She grabbed her coat and walked toward the door. But before she stepped outside, her mother whispered, "Be careful, he won't want the past returning." Emily paused, her hand on the doorknob. "That's the thing, Mom," she said quietly. "The past didn't return. I did." The sun had begun to set by the time Emily reached the town's old commercial district. Her uncle's office sat at the corner. Glass windows, polished sign, everything clean and expensive. A lie dressed in success. Emily stepped out of her car, chestnut hair moving gently in the evening breeze. She straightened her coat and walked toward the door. Her reflection in the glass looked different. Stronger. More like the woman she wished her father could have seen. She entered. The air smelled like cologne and paper. The building was quiet. Too quiet. Then a voice came from the hallway. "Emily? Is that really you?" She froze. Her uncle appeared, wearing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He looked older, but not weaker. His dark tailored suit and polished shoes made him look exactly like the respectable man everyone believed he was. "Look at you," he said. "All grown up." Emily kept her voice steady. "We need to talk." His smile thinned, barely noticeable, but she saw it. "Of course," he said, stepping closer. "But some things are better left alone." Emily's jaw tightened. "Not anymore.